Reading interview in a decade. Noel Gallagher out of the Now, Thursday at 9 on Sky Arts.
Hello.
Prefers to be an author at 10 years' time. He tweets.
Hello there. Fucking hell. There's no viewers here. Alright. Am I the only person who's got a serious alcohol problem? Hello, how you doing, pal? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up and say something. I'm going to talk about crazy fucking alcohol stories. And by the way, I'm sober. I've been sober for about a week. I think I've got one viewer. Give me a thumbs up or leave a comment. Yeah? I'm in Scotland, the land of the fucking alcoholics. Come on, I know there's somebody there. Talk to me. Look, I don't care how fucking embarrassing or I don't care what you've done drinking. Because trust me, I've fucking done that and got the t-shirt. Yeah? Come on, let's talk about fucking drinking. or the lack of drinking. Oh man. I don't know this fucking YouTube works. Hello, say something. I know there's one other person watching this. Oh, sit back, wait. Look, I've been sober fucking about a week, right?
Which side has the greater appetite to reheat old Brexit divisions? Unclear. Sky News. Well, let's speak about that now with David McAllister. He's the German MEP and co-chair of the European Parliament's UK Contact Group. He also chairs the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee. A very good evening to you, Mr. McAllister. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, you're well aware, I'm sure, of the British government's view. We heard it there from the Environment Secretary, George Eustice, that a ban on selling sausages and chicken nuggets in Northern Ireland is nonsensical. It does seem a bit extreme to be falling out so radically about something so relatively trivial.
Good evening. The newly appointed UK Contact Group in the European Parliament had its first meeting this morning with Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič, and we approved the agenda of the Joint Committee meeting and also the first meeting of the Partnership Council I'm cautiously optimistic as regards the first meeting of the Partnership Council, but of course, the meeting of the Joint Committee will be difficult. We are certainly at a sensitive moment. What in the end is this all about? It's about the British side implementing all the obligations which stem from the protocol on Ireland and Northern Ireland. This protocol is an essential part of the withdrawal agreement. It was painstakingly negotiated by both sides. And now, step by step, we need to implement what was agreed upon jointly. And this protocol, I want to be very clear here, is not the problem. The protocol is part of the solution of the problem. The problem is Brexit, and especially the kind of Brexit the UK opted for.
But on these specific issues, is there flexibility from the EU side on sausages? And I mean, it sounds, as I say, relatively trivial mentioning sausages, chicken nuggets, pot plants, pets travelling between Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
What we need is a common understanding and common approaches to find indeed practical solutions. That's what I expect from tomorrow's meeting. We as a European Union have always been clear we are ready to find practical and pragmatic solutions, but what we need is a clear commitment from the UK side that we are going to see the implementation of the protocol actually happening. Unfortunately, the UK government until now is still not doing enough to fully implement the withdrawal agreement and the protocol, and that's where we are.
Is the EU beginning to form, or perhaps it has already formed, the view that the UK negotiated the protocol in bad faith, that it never really intended to fully implement it?
Well, the implementation of the withdrawal agreement, including the protocol, is for us a litmus test as regards the seriousness and the willingness, and it's also about establishing trust and confidence on both sides. And because the UK government took these unilateral measures, the European Union has started an infringement procedure. This infringement procedure is ongoing, but as Commission Vice President Šefčovič said, the EU wouldn't be shy in reacting swiftly, firmly, and resolutely to ensure that the UK follows what has been agreed upon. I do hope that we don't have to go beyond infringements, but the European Union would be ready to use all the tools at our disposal. Agreement, but there's a lot of goodwill on our side. We want to find solutions on the outstanding issues, namely the practical and political difficulties to implement the protocol correctly.
Goodwill on your side, do you detect it on the United Kingdom side?
Well, we've seen ups and downs, haven't we? I would say on a positive note is that both sides have now agreed on a list of issues which need to be solved, but what we now need is a roadmap. See the progress step by step. And Vice President Šefčovič, at the front, have always said we are ready to find pragmatic and practical solutions to everyday life in Northern Ireland. But if we hear arguments like flexibility, that is the exact opposite of flexibility. In the end, the protocol cannot be renegotiated. It was the squaring of a very difficult circle. There were other options also possible. In the end, this is what the UK wanted, and now we need to make this protocol work, because for us, the solutions under the protocol are possible under the agreed arrangements, and the solutions of the protocol provide peace and stability on the island of Ireland, and they also, and that is important for us as the European Union, of course they preserve the integrity of our single market.
Mr. McAllister, just give us a practical sense then of that threat. It is a threat from Mr. Šefčovič about swiftly, firmly and resolutely reacting to the UK if it continues down this path. What form would that take? Would that be a full-scale trade war, ultimately tariffs on British exports into the European Union, major exports?
Nobody is happy about this situation. That's why we want to make clear to our British partners that we have other tools at our disposal. The Trade Cooperation Agreement gives us a lot of different opportunities, but we want to avoid this. And the best would be that both sides now seriously implement the withdrawal agreement and the protocol, and here the British side has to deliver pacta sunt servanda, as the old Romans said.
And can I ask you about the role of the Americans, particularly President Biden, of course, arriving in the UK for the G7 summit, of course, meet many EU leaders there. Then, of course, the EU summit after that. Now, we know we've got the signals from the White House that they're going to say to the United Kingdom very clearly, do not jeopardise the Good Friday Agreement. But they're also going to say to the EU, you've got to be more flexible.
Well, indeed, all of us are totally dedicated to maintaining the Good Friday, the Belfast Agreement. We all want peace and stability on the island of Ireland, and we all want to avoid a hard border between the Republic and Northern Ireland. And that's why this protocol was invented, trying to square the circle. And with the Americans, we in the European Union agree. Despite us not appreciating Brexit, we all know that we now have a new phase of our relationship with the United Kingdom. The UK will never be a simple third country. For us, the United Kingdom is an important neighbour, trade partner, and NATO ally, and we want to solve these issues. There's a lot of goodwill on our side, but what we need now is concrete action taken by the UK government, because action always speaks more than words, and that's why the ball is clearly in the British court. And that's why I do hope that the UK government will present some realistic options either tomorrow at the Joint Committee meeting or after the Joint Committee. Let's work on making this possible, and let's stop taking unilateral measures which will only provoke legal infringement procedures, which nobody's really happy about in Brussels. But as I mentioned, we are ready to react in a swift, firm, but also...
David McAllister, good talking to you. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for sparing the time.
Thank you.
David McAllister. Now, returning to this internet outage, which brought down sites all over the world, including the UK government's site. Well, we can speak now to Paddy McGuinness, Senior Advisor now at the Brunswick Group, and the UK's former Deputy National Security Advisor for Intelligence, Security and Resilience. Well, just a man to talk to then. Good to talk to you, Mr. McGuinness. Well, you know, this outage, it seems to have been short-lived, but it just shows how vulnerable we are, how vulnerable the whole world is.
Well, thanks for having me on. And yes, it does show some vulnerability, but I think we should be clear about actually the kind of system it was and the vulnerability it exposed. I mean, this was a consumer-facing system, something that delivers what the consumer is accessing, maybe from a news channel, perhaps from some standard government service, and actually it was quite quickly rectified. And there are things today to learn about resilience, yes, vulnerability, but also the resilient system. What? And recover to an event. We can't just rely on prevention.
Well, tell us, reassure us how resilient the UK is. I mean, we're talking an awful lot about this now, aren't we? After the pandemic, about preparing for these cataclysmic events. Now, it really would be end of days if everything went out for good. How prepared is the United Kingdom to deal with those eventualities?
Well, I mean, comparatively, I think the United Kingdom's in a strong position. We've got strong defenders in the National Cyber Security Centre and GCHQ. We have a strong commercial sector that's running critical infrastructure in many areas with great resilience. There's always more to do, though, because we're constantly adopting new technologies, and with those new technologies, as we use them, they go from being a nice to have to being a vital part of our lives. My word, we've learned that, haven't we, during the COVID pandemic, which has so accelerated the take of a whole range of technologies, whether it be this kind of thing, the way we're speaking to each other now, or indeed the way in which we access services, receive our food, and the rest of it. And that poses a challenge because we need to build resilience in from the outset. Too much of our thinking has focused on threat and security as opposed to resilience to hazard. And today's problem seems to be what's called a misconfiguration, i.e. something going wrong, not as a result of a threat actor having a go at the system.
I wanted to ask you about that. That's interesting what you say. You think this is the bigger threat, the misconfiguration, as you put it. But, you know, we do talk all the time, don't we? I know that President Biden's going to raise it with President Putin at his summit with the Russian leader next week. It's always the foreign actor, particularly the Russians and the Chinese, we seem to obsess about. Are you saying that they're not quite as big a threat as we might imagine?
Well, I don't think they're a threat to often a threat to our everyday use of the internet and of network technologies. They are a very significant threat, and my word, we need to call out state actors such as Russia and China and others who misbehave online. We don't yet have international norms that will keep them in check, and they have the potential to do as much damage as bombs and any other kind of weapon. I see in my private practice now attacks on, for instance, the healthcare sector and the life sciences of the kind I saw when I was in government service. If you did that with a bomb, it would be an act of war. Indeed, it might well be a breach of the law around warfare, an attack on a hospital. You know, I see this now. I see ransomware attacks on healthcare institutions, and there aren't norms that stop it, and it's very difficult to deal with, as we've seen recently with the Colonial Pipeline attack in the US. So there is a need to call out state actors, but I don't think we should obsess about them. We should think about how we build resilience into the network we're bringing in.
Okay, think about it or do it. I mean, we haven't done it yet. That's the point.
Well, we have to some extent, and there's a whole body of regulation and legislation, and indeed there are a whole set of systems that we use that are reliable, and you know, we use them every day. We use many more today than we used, let's say, 5 or 10 years ago. We know in 5 or 10 years we're going to be using a whole other set of networks. I've been looking a little bit at electronic vehicles and electronic vehicle charging. You look at that goes not only to the heart of our transport system, but also to our intentions around COP26 to get to net zero and reduce our carbon footprint as a nation. We're now beginning to think about how that's rolled out to the household. Yes, it's with us already in some service stations, but it'll be much broader. That's something we need to build resilience into now, because we know it's going to tip from being a nice to have into being critical national infrastructure really quite rapidly in the next 10 years. There's an example.
What a fascinating conversation. I'm sorry we have to cut it short at this point. Paddy McGuinness, it's always good to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Good to talk to you too. Thank you.
Well, now you're watching Sky News Tonight. And coming up, as England prepared to play their first major tournament match at Wembley since Euro 96, believe it or not, one of their players has gone for a retro haircut to mark the occasion. We had no idea what was going to happen.
It's my son. Composed it out of pure anger. He tore that wall down.
We wanted to be strong. We wanted to be independent.
Everybody was dying. Maybe we can make a difference. Play rock and roll.
Soundtracks, songs that define history. Fridays at 7 on Sky Arts. With more all-electric parcel delivery vehicles in more cities than ever before, DPD are making them cleaner, one delivery at a time. Because wherever your parcels are delivered, at DPD we know we all share the same address. You could spend hours planning a holiday yourself, or you could let Dial-A-Flight do it for you. Then dial down the stress. Dial up relaxing. Dial up the wow. Dial up the fun. One quick call and you'll create the perfect holiday, flights and hotels. You may be surprised how much you can save. Dial a flight. One call, all the answers.
My wife loves a clean G&T, and she has great taste. Obviously.
Please. You mean yes, please? I know what you're thinking. Another ad selling the dream of self-improvement. It looks so easy. Yeah, right. We know it's not all sunshine and six-packs, so why not choose an easier goal to accomplish, like stock investing on eToro? Simply choose a stock, set an amount, hit trade. And because buying stocks is commission-free, you get to keep everything. Now that's something you can stick to. Join over 15 million others like you and start investing today. Visit stocks.etoro.com or download the app. Lovely.
Asda is taking picnics to the next level this summer with 3 for £5 on an amazing range. How about the tender coffee bites, perfect with a cooling yogurt dip, offering a messy twist with some tangy green feta and spinach parcels. That's summer sorted. That's Asda price.
Now then, it's time to join Emma at Sky Sports News for an update.
And there's 2 players now. Share the lead.
We're not sharing. This program is brought to you by Vitality, sharing the love of the action.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hello, good evening. James Anderson says England teammate Ollie Robinson has the full support of the squad following his suspension for historical offensive tweets. Robinson's apology has been accepted by the squad after his tweets were highlighted during his test debut last week, prompting an ECB investigation.
I remember being that age, and you do make mistakes, and you may be a little bit, very young and inexperienced. I think it's just a case of trying to make sure that even at that age, we try and send the message that this is an acceptable language to use.
The England football squads have been holding their pre-Euro 2020 media day today, and there's a bit of a throwback to Euro 96. Phil Foden has got himself a retro Gaza haircut, although the Manchester City player says he wasn't deliberately trying to replicate England's hero of 25 years ago.
I thought I'd just try something new, and then woke up this morning with a lot of comparisons to Gaza and Eminem, so yeah, it was my own thing, and people turned it to something else.
The Wales squads have arrived in Baku and trained this morning ahead of their opener against Switzerland on Saturday. The players will be taking a knee ahead of kick-off to show their support for racial equality.
As Wales, we're deciding to do it because we want to make change, and hopefully all the other countries are looking at us like we are going to make change. But with some people, I just don't think it's ever change anything. So it just is what it is. And if it does happen, we're going to take it, hopefully try and move on from it, but it doesn't look like we can change their opinions.
Well, the violence players were booed for taking the knee in their friendly with Hungary in Budapest. Hungary players chose to stand but pointed to the respect badge on their arms, but the views of the fans were clearly audible. On the pitch, the game ended goalless, with Liverpool goalkeeper Quinton Kelleher making a decent save later on after coming on for his debut. Ireland aren't going to the Euros after losing on penalties in the playoffs last year. Joe Salisbury has moved closer to winning a first main draw French Open title by a British player in 39 years. He's into the mixed doubles final. And it's been a day of firsts at Roland Garros. Alexander Zverev is into the semi-final of this tournament for the first time. The 6th seed in the black here needed little time to see off Spain's Alejandro Davidovich Fokina in straight sets. He'll play the winner of Stefanos Tsitsipas against Daniel Medvedev. Tsitsipas currently leading that one to set up in their quarter-final. Russia's Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova is also into the last four of the women's draw for the first time after she came from a set down to beat her doubles partner Elena Rybakina in the last 8. She'll face Tamara Zidansek, who overcame Paula Badosa. And you can keep up to date with all of tonight's friendly action, plus loads more build up to the European Championships live over on Sky Sports News. We're back anytime.
Oi! I say this, develop on side.
sector. Now time for the weather forecast.
Look forward to brighter skies. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
It's going to be mainly settled this week, turning very warm and humid in places as well, but northern and western areas will see plenty of cloud and some rain. For now, it's a largely fine and warm evening, but parts of Ireland and western Scotland will have a bit of rain, and it will affect more of the north and west overnight, turning heavy in places too. Some fog on coasts and hills. It'll be fairly warm, but it's chilly in some rural spots in the south, which is going to be clearer.
The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
Get rid of the germ cage. Direct will change your life.
Well, they are more hygienic. Simply stamp them in, and they help clean and leave a fabulous fragrance with every flush. Look, it's not rocket science. It's duck science. F.C. Johnson, a family company.
Hear that? That's the sound of more. The more that comes from investing in a Money Farm stocks and shares ISA. Actively manage your money to work hard. You can keep track of your investments at the touch of a button with a consultant on hand. Simple. So with Money Farm performance, expertise, and simplicity, you're free to do more of, well, whatever you enjoy. Invest in your ISA now at moneyfarm.com.
Lemon, the taste that can bring any dish into sharp focus. All brought to you by Deliveroo.
Amy loves this t-shirt because it's not just a t-shirt. It's her I'm Still Rock and Roll really t-shirt. Yeah. And now she can keep wearing it, knowing it's protected in the wash by new Comfort Ultimate Care's Pro-Fiber technology. It protects fabric fibers, keeping clothes fragrant and looking like new. I can't promise the rock and roll lifestyle will last, but the t-shirt will. New Comfort Ultimate Care. Long live clothes.
Whatever you do, we do breakfast. Kellogg's. I was in the band since 91. To get that big, it's an incredible thing. But I don't pine for it. Dig it. And I'd rather do something else now, thank you very much. If photography has to be a Boston at 10 years time.
8 weeks, 8 unique challenges for who can hold their own against the formidable judges and don't get anything out of this.
It doesn't feel personal at all.
And who will be the master of photography? Tonight at 8 on Sky Arts.
Becomes human in the thriller Transcendence. That's at 6:45. Unconventional romance begins with a hard-boiled egg in the Oscar-soaked Shape of Water at 9. And Keep Calm and Carry On, Dr. Banner at 11:25 to keep the Incredible Hulk away.
Gorgeous sci-fi that contains violence from the visionary virtuoso Luc Besson, now here on Film 4. Linda Hahn and Cara Delevingne are fighting crime across the universe in Valerian, the city of 1,000 planets.
Charge your senses. Polestar 2 quietly sponsors 9 PM film on Film 4.
Ground control to Major Tom. Second, 6, commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2, check ignition and may God's love be with you.